I set up here just with 2 blankets, a simple setup. Any blankets are fine, they don't have to be yoga blankets. If you happen to have a bolster at home and like using that, that's fine. I just want to give a little bit of lift for my chest to help open up the chest. And of course I have a little blanket acting as a pillow there. So you'll get yourself set up, folding your blankets, and the buttocks is going to be on the floor, and you want this head blanket here to be also supporting the neck, so it's not just underneath the head itself, it's supporting the neck. It should feel comfortable. And if you do wear glasses, just take them off. There's really no need for them. Other than this setup here, I probably could have just done an audio for this, but I don't know how to do that. So, all right. So you're lying down in a Shavasana position. Make sure that you get yourself as comfortable as possible. Okay, make sure that the shoulder blades are tucked in, right? Meaning the shoulders are not rolling up toward the ceiling, nor are they reaching up toward your ears. Relax them away from your ears. See that the sacrum is even on the floor, as even as possible. I've left my socks on here, and you can always cover yourself with another blanket if you get chilly. Just make sure that you're warm enough. And just begin by relaxing in the jaw. It takes a few minutes usually to settle down into a lying down position where the rate of breathing slows, the heart rate slows. So give yourself that time. And if the breath feels a little bit shaky for any reason, don't worry about that. And your job for right now is to just be present. And be as mindful of as many breaths as possible. See that the eyes are relaxed, that the temples are relaxed. And if that is proving to be a little problematic for you, you can always take your hands and just massage your temples a little bit. We should all be avoiding, I wouldn't put my hands over my eyes at this point unless I had absolutely just washed my hands. Right, but you can easily massage the temples and even up in the forehead a little bit if the muscles around the scalp are tight. With each breath, just letting go a little bit more. And notice what your hands are doing. What are your thumbs doing? Can you relax the fingers? Relax the thumbs. And just imagine that you have two nice, smooth river rocks, and you're holding those rocks in your palms. So a little bit of weight and softness there to help relieve any tension in the hands. Relax your throat, relax your neck. And see that your eyes are in a comfortable place. There's different ways of doing, different techniques that we can use. Looking slightly downward toward the cheekbones can be beneficial. And your sense of vision becomes much less important here in an external sense. The eyes are closed. There's nothing to look at. There's nothing to look for. There's nothing to look away from. Rather, turn that sense of vision, all that energy that we spend every day looking at things, take that energy and turn it inward. So the body hopefully starts to settle down and settle in. And you can start focusing on the breath itself. So just noticing the inhalations, noticing the exhalations. Notice their length, their depth, the quality of the breaths. And try to do that with no judgment. Keeping the physical body as relaxed as possible. Breathing through your nose, both on inhalation and exhalation. And you can start to make an ujjayi sound with the breath. Most of you know what that is. There's a few of you that I'm sending these to that haven't practiced pranayama. The ujjayi sound is like a whisper. It's how you would hold your throat if you were to whisper, right? So it's a shape that you make with the back of the throat. And when you make that shape with the back of the throat, you get a sound that almost sounds like the ocean. You know, when you listen to, you hold up one of those seashells to your ear. In addition to thinking of that sound as a whisper, you can also, another example is to pretend that you're fogging up a mirror. That's the same shape in the throat, except your mouth is closed. So practice your Ujjayi inhalations and exhalations. Now there's a good chance that you can't hear my Ujjayi breathing just because of the situation here with where my phone is recording. But the sound, it should be loud enough for you to hear, for yourself making the sound, and maybe if there was somebody next to you. It's not a huge, really loud sound that you're making. It's meant to be soothing. And if it doesn't come natural to you, and some people end up, when they first start practicing Ujjayi, you start coughing and stuff. If it's causing you a problem, just skip it. And just do regular, slightly deeper inhalations and exhalations. And now, whether you're doing the Ujjayi sound or not, we're going to direct the breath to some different areas. So take your hands now and place them, you're going to bend your elbows and place the hands right by your bottom ribs. And when you inhale, you feel the hands raise up and slightly separate. When you exhale, they slightly lower down and the middle fingers move toward each other. The hands move toward each other. So practice breathing into the bottom rib area. And remember that the exhalations are just as important, if not more important, than your inhalations. If we overstress the inhalations, which is what happens sometimes when you're first learning to do breath work, if we overdo the inhalations, we end up getting dizzy. And that is not at all what we want. So remember to exhale fully and deeply. And then you're going to move your hands up a little bit higher so you can feel the sternum a little bit. If you need, people with shoulder problems, if this isn't okay with you to hold the arms in this position, you can just have imaginary arms and keep your real arms to the side. All right, so now we're moving up toward the middle ribs. And you're still Ujjayi breathing. The breaths have to get a little bit deeper here in order to move that middle rib area. The bottom ribs move pretty easily. So expand the rib cage. One more breath here. And now you'll move to the top chest area. So here the elbows are going to have to be up a little bit, but we'll do it fairly quickly. So you want to bring your fingertips, the middle fingers, just so they're touching up just underneath the sternum. Not underneath the sternum, underneath the collarbones rather, sorry. All right, so you're underneath your collarbones here, middle fingers touching, and the palms spread to the sides. And go ahead and continue your Ujjayi. Getting the breath up to the top chest. The shoulders will raise a little bit here just because of where your arms are. And then after that next exhalation, bring the arms back down into a relaxed position. And we'll repeat those three. So first we'll breathe into that bottom rib band, we could say. And imagine that not just being up in the front body, but also out to the sides, and also tracing that around to the back. So breathe Ujjayi breaths into the bottom rib band. Remember to relax your tongue and your eyes. Now go to the middle rib band. And this is, again, circumferentially. So it's not just the front body that's breathing. You want to get to the front, the sides, and the back of the lungs and the rib cage. Create elasticity there. One of the hardest things to do is to keep your shoulders relaxed while you're doing this. And I'm noticing it in myself as I lie here and am talking to you about this. My shoulders, they want to tense up when I'm breathing, especially on the inhale. So as you're doing your Ujjayi breath into the middle ribs, try to relax your shoulders. They're going to want to creep up towards your ears. And now breathe up into your top chest. So underneath the collarbones, follow that around. You can imagine breathing up into the armpits here even. And then up by the shoulder blades, so almost the middle to the top of the shoulder blades in the back. And then after your next inhalation, you can just relax your breath. Readjust your position if you'd like. Some of you I know like to either do Baddha Konasana with your legs. That's another option you can do here. You could cross your legs. That sometimes eases the lower back. Also, putting some support underneath your knees is a good idea too if the lower back starts to get too involved. Okay, and once you've reorganized yourself, and sometimes the head likes to tip off to the side, I know mine does, especially watching myself in these videos. You get the physical body reorganized so that it cannot be a distraction when you're working on the breath. So now we're going to move to a breath called Viloma. Viloma 1. There's a few different Viloma breaths. We'll do 1 and 2 today. Viloma means going against the grain, against the hairs. Okay, so it involves a little bit of retention in the breath. Okay, so what you're going to do, I'll use my hands, even though you're probably not watching this, it's easy for me to use my hands to explain what's going on. So the first thing I'll do is I take an inhale from the pubic bone to the navel and I hold. I take another inhale from the navel to the bottom ribs and I hold. I take another inhale from the bottom ribs to the top chest, I hold, and then I completely exhale. Okay, so it's a segmented breath. You have one section here from pubic bone to navel, another section from navel to bottom ribs, another section from bottom ribs to top chest. They're all little inhales with pit stops, and then a full complete exhalation. If that is too much for you, or it causes your ears to feel full, or you can't keep up, just go back to regular breathing. Anytime you're not comfortable with a breathing exercise, just immediately stop. Okay, so here we go. Take a full exhalation. Inhale from pubic bone to navel and pause. Inhale from navel to bottom ribs, pause. Inhale bottom ribs to top chest, pause. Completely exhale. Now take a normal cycle of breath. Inhale and an exhale. And we'll repeat. Pubic bone to navel and pause. Navel to bottom ribs, pause. Bottom ribs to top chest, pause. Complete exhalation. Full inhalation, full exhalation. We'll do again. Inhale from pubic bone to navel, pause. Inhale from navel to bottom ribs, pause. Inhale from bottom ribs to top chest, pause. Full complete exhalation. And then nice inhalation, exhalation, and continue on your own for just a couple of moments. And once you've completed your next one, without rushing, just return back to regular breathing. And you can change your leg position if you'd like. Get comfortable once again. And now we're going to do the opposite of that, which is Viloma 2. So the previous technique, it was retention on inhalation. This is going to be retention on exhalation, so it's exactly the opposite. I'll explain first. I take a deep inhalation. I I exhale from the top chest to the bottom ribs and I pause. Exhale from bottom ribs to navel, pause. Exhale from navel to pubic bone, pause. Complete inhalation. Full exhalation. Another deep inhalation. Okay, so it's the exact opposite of what you just did. Oftentimes people find this one a little bit more difficult. And you can, when you're practicing this on your own, for video purposes, it's just kind of easier for me to lead you through a few stops. But when you practice this on your own, you can make as many or as few pit stops as you like. Okay? If you've been practicing pranayama for a while, this breath work, you can probably make more pit stops. Okay? People just learning, you run out of breath quickly. Don't worry about it. Just go back to regular breathing and you can start over. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to take an inhale. Exhale from the top chest to the bottom ribs, pause. Exhale from bottom ribs to navel, pause. Exhale from navel to pubic bone, pause. Take a nice deep inhalation. Full, complete exhalation. Full, complete inhalation. Now exhaling from top chest to bottom ribs, pause. Bottom ribs to navel, pause. Navel to pubic bone, pause. Full, complete inhalation. And a full exhalation. Another complete inhalation. And exhale from top chest to bottom ribs, pause. Exhale from bottom ribs to navel, pause. Exhale from navel to pubic bone, pause. Full, complete inhalation. And exhalation. And now take the next couple of moments to do on your own, at your own pace. And after your next deep inhalation, taking your time, just return back to regular breath and let go of any doing. And now bend your legs one by one and just roll onto your side. Pause here. And then use your hands to push yourself up. Just as calmly and quietly as possible. You can take these blankets and just stack them up. If you want to have a wall behind you to lean on, you can certainly do that. just sit up for a moment. With the chest lifted. And just come away from any doing with the breath. We certainly don't want the chest to drop and collapse downward and the shoulders to roll forward, but just come away from your pranayama. And we think of pranayama as a breathing technique, and it very much is. But the word prana prana means life force. It's your life energy. And the yama is a restraint of that life force. Restraint not in a bad way, but restraint in terms of, managing it. Right? So essentially the practice of pranayama is you're managing your life force. How important is that? Right? In addition to all the physical stuff that we do with our muscles and bones when we practice asana. And so just close your eyes here for a moment. And just notice. Notice your mind. Notice if there are any changes in the mind from when we first started a little while ago here to what the mind is doing now. Hopefully there's a little bit less clutter and perhaps more of a sense of clarity, a sense of peace. And while pranayama practice does not guarantee that every single time we practice, it certainly does make it more likely. And then go ahead and open your eyes. And I hope you have a peaceful day. And see you all soon.